No hatred in history was as universal, deep, and long-lasting as the hatred of Jews and Judaism. And none have culminated in an attempt of global annihilation.
So the Jews survived thousands of years of hatred. It's almost impossible to understand. I mean, talk about the unpopular kid in the block, huh? Can it be explained? I mean, on a historical level.
Many explanations have been given to account for this phenomenon. Historians suggest that during ancient times, it was the Jews' exile and their disposition which made them the ultimate foreigner.
Indeed, they were perceived as foreigners, very different people, sometimes funny-looking, with the monotheistic beliefs in a pagan world. Okay, but what about the other monotheistic religions?
Well, when the church became dominant, things became much worse for the Jews for a very long time. The church fathers created a narrative in which Christianity was the true religion. Having the Jewish people weak, humiliated, and inferior was seen as the ultimate proof of Christianity's superiority.
They were accused of murdering the Son of God.
Not only that, the negative stereotypes and the wild accusations against the Jews were so widespread. They smelled different. They had horns and tails that killed children. They drank their blood, poisoned wells, caused plagues, and cheated in business.
Those Jewish people sounded to me like they were from the tales of the Grimm brothers.
The Jews were doomed to be forever wanderers.
Throughout Christian history, Jews were expelled from Christian lands countless times.
What a terrible history.
Indeed. Some people view these ongoing hardships as something that helped form Jewish perseverance.
Compare that to the never-ending persecution and murder of Jews so widespread and often at monstrous proportions, like in Poland. In 1648, hundreds of thousands of Jews were massacred in the campaign of annihilation. For years, Jews were denied the right to permanent residence in Christian lands. These beliefs were so widespread, were so fundamental that it wasn't until 1965 when the Vatican officially changed them and expressed remorse.
Definitely. A poor situation for the Jews in those lands. I mean, especially in Europe. Was it any different in non-Christian lands?
Well, surprisingly,
The Muslim-Jewish relationship throughout history is slightly more peaceful compared to the Christian one. But yet, in Islam, the status of the Jews was mostly inferior, and Jews suffered from humiliations, massacres, expulsions, and blood libels for centuries.
Well, in Europe, it seemed like Jews could finally expect to see a change. Revolutionary France enacted laws that first emancipated Jews in France, establishing them as equal citizens.
all they had to do was to abandon peoplehood and their national aspirations and compromise on religious beliefs.
Yes. Many Jews accepted this trade-off. They became patriots, more German than the Germans, more French than the Frenchmen. Jewish poets, philosophers, musicians, artists, and scientists gained public recognition, leading Jews to believe that the ancient hatred was over.
But it wasn't over.
No. At all levels, Jew hatred continued to exist and grow. Intellectuals, composers, writers, and politicians openly expressed extreme anti-Jewish opinions.
Anti-Semitism and hatred spread like wildfire, fueled by fabrications such as the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which claimed the Jews controlled the world.
Do you remember the story of Alfred Dreyfus?
In the late 19th century, in Paris, an assimilated French Jewish officer was falsely accused of treason, and the masses took to the streets, shouting death to the Jews. But why did people buy so easily into these accusations?
We are not the first to ask this question.
Theodor Herzl, an Austrian Jewish journalist stationed in Paris, was shocked by the extent of anti-Semitism. Herzl wrote, "I recognize the emptiness and futility of trying to combat anti-Semitism."
Herzl was right. Finding a logical explanation or cure was futile. Less than 50 years later, when 6 million Jews were gassed to rid the world of Jews, their religious or national beliefs were irrelevant.
Despite all explanations, Jew hatred remains unexplained. Throughout history, it changed form. At times, it was religious, at times racial, at times social, and more recently in the form of anti-Zionism, condemning Jews for living in their homeland and denying Israel's very right to exist. Historically, Jews have tried to dissolve the hatred by turning their backs on their beliefs and identity, have failed. The unsolved question of this ancient hatred remains open for Jews and non-Jews, and is perhaps a key for the question posed by Mark Twain. What is the secret of their immortality?